atmosphere really revs up. We get a little more spin, a little more energy pumping in, and have a torcon of 7. Remember, the greater the number, the greater the threat. We also have the risk of flooding. And by the way, this is into Friday morning, but Saturday, this could continue. Keep in mind, these threats could take place in the overnight hours. This is America's Morning Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams alongside meteorologist Jordan Steele and Jim Cantori. Jordan, we have multiple days of severe weather ahead, and we've already seen the damage a low-end tornado can cause, and it was in a place that we don't usually see it.
Right, Southern Cal.
That's my biggest concern with this thing.
Yeah, a lot of this could be overnight.
Yeah, a lot of it could be overnight, and that's what I'm worried about here. All right, let's have a look at the timing for you, and we're going to take you city by city. First, we're going to start you off here and have a look at Oklahoma City, and we do have a few little raindrops here as we head into the afternoon, but like I was mentioning with that last one, we have to wait till a little bit later in the day for the storms really to fire up. And when you see a storm and the reflectivity looking like that, very heavy rainfall, typically very strong winds, and you could get some hail with that as well. Hail will be a big threat as we head through the day today. The tornadic threat, that lifts as we, or I should say revs up as we head into tomorrow, as Jim was just giving you the parameters for that. But as we go through tomorrow morning, everything will start to move east. By the way, this is kind of a slow mover. It takes for the entire weekend for this to finally clear the East Coast. As we look into Wichita Falls, storms passing through, and it's a couple rounds of it, so you're not just finished once the first round comes through, so watch out for that. There's our torcon of 7 as you look a little bit east of Little Rock, but we're still in a 5. You don't want to sleep on a 5 or a 3 because you could still have tornadoes within that. Little Rock, our storms come through as we head really through Friday morning is when we start to get in the action, stays around, and then we don't get the full line to come through until we basically head to bed. But we at least can sleep soundly because all the severe weather will be to our east, but our neighbors in places like Mississippi are really going to have to be aware as we head into the overnight hours. Also into Tennessee, Memphis, we have a 5 on our torcon, and we can show you the storms coming through kind of starting on Friday morning. So I don't want people to let their guard down when they say, oh, nothing happened as we made our way, because look at that. Oof. That is a gnarly line of storms around 8 p.m. Jordan?
That's the kind of storm that just like the skies go dark.
Yes.
Right, right before sunset. I know this is very important for all of us here and for you as well, with the risk of back-to-back.
By the way, next week could be quite active as well. Even into our Sunday in the south, we could see active weather. So when I look at this map, I came over here and I was looking at this, and I was like, I think there's a warm front running along this map. Look at the temperatures from Indianapolis to Chicago. I mean, that is a significant difference here. And of course, you have storms as well that are going to ride along this boundary. So it's so interesting what you can see just by looking at a few numbers on the map and a little bit of weather to determine what's happening in the atmosphere. But showers and thunderstorms all racing eastbound, and we will see rain ahead of this system coming in and much warmer temperatures. As we head into tomorrow, we will see a high pressure build in and dry us out, but it doesn't last long because the system that we're talking about causing all the severe weather in the south, that rolls up into the Great Lakes and into the Northeast for Saturday and does not leave on Sunday. It still is bringing us a little bit of snow, especially into Maine into our Sunday. Overall, it's going to be pretty light stuff for us here, but this is just a long-lasting system for us. Milwaukee, we get the sunshine on Friday and then the snow coming in as we head into our Saturday. Here's a look at how it all plays out. Friday, you get, remember, that warm front coming up, and then you'll see that cold front pushing through on the backside of this system, and that's going to bring us a little bit of snow. Poor Buffalo, we don't need any more snow, that's for sure. But notice, even into Sunday, Jim, we're still dealing with this. It's not fully out of here until we head into our Monday.
Maine has the best chance of getting the most snow out of this.
Yeah.
Steph.
And the thing is the culprit in the west that caused the tornado there, and the hail, and the snow, and the rain, that's all swinging east. And look at this jet. You can see it pumping in the moisture, not only the moisture, but also the winds. And that is one of the key things when it comes to severe weather. So today, it looks like we have a hail threat from really kind of, let's say, the Ohio River Valley all the way down to the Big Bend. But the biggest chances will be Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and down into Texas, where we could see hail 2 inches or greater in this hatched area. So you're talking at least the size of a lime. Imagine just a lime, solid ice coming down, that's going to hurt, and that's going to leave a mark. So we have this warm, moist air heading northbound here. Look at our dew point temperatures, plenty high there. In order to get severe weather, you need mid-50s or higher, and we will see that really fuel these storms. The thing is, though, it takes until later in the day, say around 4 o'clock, when you're starting to get dinner ready or you're giving the kids a snack. That's when things fire up, and then it just keeps getting worse from there, which is the bad thing because it's into the overnight hours. And that's when we get the most deaths, is when we have severe weather into the overnight hours. This then is going to swing east. We don't get too much of a break, but I'll tell you, as we head into our Friday, things really rev up. We have that low-level jet that's going to punch in, and we do have that jet that's going to cross over it. That gives us some more spin in the atmosphere, and Jim will pick up that story in a minute. Today, as we head into tomorrow, those storms will still be coming through Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, but it is going to be clearing out. Look in its wake. We do have a lovely 62 in Amarillo with the sunshine there. Still a little breezy, though, from Midland to El Paso. But, Jim, as we head into Friday, we just get a few more parameters that come into play that are also a little stronger. We
bring everything that it's going to take to put things into play. Plus, we have heating. We're in the warm sector.
Well,
a lot of your storms are going to be elevated, as we call them, and north of the.
Rescue you is in trouble.
Right, that's a problem.
You know that you have a lot, like way bigger problems there. All right, so let's look at our system that's pulling through the plains and on into the Midwest. Milwaukee, we are right on that line. If you happen to live in the far northern suburbs, you're getting snow, and we are rain in Milwaukee and just south of there. And look at these storms racing east. We have a boundary with that, a boundary. Sometimes I get excited and I start talking too fast and my mouth can't keep up with my excitement. Yeah, exactly. Nice, Jim. Well played. So this is all going along a boundary. And there's some forcing there, so you can see we do have convection for us. So watch for those storms today along 70 down to 44 and 49. This is only going to expand into tomorrow, so you should probably keep tuning into us here. 35, I-20, I-10, and it's going to ride right along the I-10 and I-20 corridors as we head into the overnight and into tomorrow as well. St. Louis, for lunchtime, we could have a couple thunderstorms firing up for us, and that PM rush, Jim, is going to be a slow one. So hopefully you're not in a rush to get home.
It always is when the rains are coming.
Out the door into the southeast and show you what our day is looking like. Welcome back into America's Morning Headquarters. Our virtual view technology transporting me to St. Louis at Keener Plaza Park, and you can see the arch there behind me. We are going to get rain that is going to be falling at times for us, heavy as well. And places in Missouri don't need it. There are some spots that are 6 inches above average for the year. It's outrageous. We do have a flood watch that goes into effect tonight at 7 p.m. And St. Louis is about 1/4 of an inch below average on rainfall for the year. So we could use it in St. Louis, but a lot of other places are above average by anywhere from 3 to 6 inches, right where you see these advisories. So it is going to be rain on top of already saturated grounds. Look at Thursday, nearly 2 inches. We get it again on Friday until everything clears out, and we do get a break. Lots of moisture here, and we have that mechanism to squeeze it all out, and that means that it is going to pile up. And notice that this boundary doesn't move a whole lot, and so that's why that area has those flood advisories, because it's going to be the same areas over and over and over again. And there's your 3 to 5 inches. Anywhere from Ohio all the way back down towards Oklahoma City, we could see some of those heavier showers. So this means that we do have the threat for excessive rainfall, which could lead to flash flooding as we go through tomorrow morning. That's into Missouri, Arkansas, and down into Oklahoma. But that expands. It doesn't just go away as we head into tomorrow. So there's your rain. And you'll notice right in the same vicinity, oh yeah, look at that, more energy and more energy and more energy. Today through the entire day tomorrow, and then this whole storm lifts right through this area as we head into our Saturday. Then we get a little bit of a break. Next week is active, though, as well. So with all of that said, notice how our likelihood of flash flooding and excessive rainfall continues through Saturday morning, anywhere from Arkansas all the way again up, inching towards Columbus, Ohio, for the day on Saturday. Indianapolis, we're going to get a couple days of heavy rainfall, and it's not just about the rain coming down, it's the rainfall rates. So if you get some light sprinkles and then all of a sudden you get an inch an hour, that's when you really run into some big-time problems here. And so we could see that, and it's something that we'll just continue to keep an eye on for you here. A place that has been overwhelmed with rain and snow is California.
Yep, and we got video to show.
The time to be weather aware is now. Look at this. We are zeroing in on a multifaceted severe threat. Today, our main threat will be hail. We could see it up to 2 inches in diameter. That's the size of a lime. Then as we head into tomorrow, we'll still see that chance for hail, but then tornadoes are a huge factor with a 7 out of 10 on our Torcon. The higher the number, the higher the threat. And we also have the risk of flooding. And this is going to be lasting over the next several days for us, so keep that in mind. And a lot of this could happen in the overnight hours, which is when it's most dangerous because you're sleeping. This is America's Morning Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams alongside meteorologist Jordan Steele and Jim Cantori. Jordan, we have multiple days of severe weather ahead, and we've already seen damage from a low-end tornado in a place that we don't typically see it.
Yeah, we go
to lift, right? Warm air rises up. And so let's show you where we are going to see the worst weather in your town. And we're going to start you off into Oklahoma City. As we roll through this afternoon, I should say, we will see the storms really start to crank as we head around that 4 or 5 o'clock hour. And notice the reflectivity with this one here. That's very heavy rainfall. We could get a little bit of hail out of these as well. Hail will be the biggest threat today. And Jim was just talking about how tornadoes, even supercells, those big rotating thunderstorms, will be a threat tomorrow. And by the way, those supercells put down large and intense tornadoes. Wichita Falls, here's a look at our forecast. And as we head into, again, the kind of that dinner time hour, snack time hour, when everyone starts saying I'm hungry, when's dinner, and even into bath time hour, we'll see the storms. You head to bed and we will see another round coming through when you're sleeping, which of course is the most dangerous. You're 2 times more likely to get killed by severe weather overnight, but that's when it's coming through, so make sure you have a way to be woken up. But here we go into Arkansas, Little Rock. We have a 5 on our Torcon. So you don't want to be like, oh, it's not a 7, it's a 5. We're okay. Wait till you see these storms blasting through as we head into Friday morning. Strong winds with these, but that's not the end of it. We get another line to come through at 5 p.m. And so this is going to be a powerful one, unfortunately, on Friday night. A lot of people have plans, but keep this in mind. You might want to change your plans, adjust your plans as it all does blow through after that. So maybe just meet up a little bit later if you're doing that with some friends. Memphis, we also have that threat for severe weather coming through, and we'll time out more cities a little bit later in the show.
It's interesting, too, even if you have a movie night planned for Friday night.
Oh, yeah, it might get canceled because
power
electricity
goes out.
Yeah.
It's like, no, waiting for the best part. Well, with the risk of back-to-back severe threats for us,
you're living a pretty miserable life in some places here in the northern tier. We do have a boundary, and that is stretching right across this area, and you can really tell where that boundary is located. A couple things that we look at when we're trying to determine a boundary. You look at the wind direction, you look at the dew point temperatures, and you look at the temperatures. And you look at a lot of other things too, but just looking at this map, can you tell where our boundary is located? Look at the temperatures. You see a huge difference here. Indianapolis to Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas. So that boundary is going to be slicing right through there, okay? In between Charleston and Cleveland. You have a big difference. So just by looking at this, you can tell there is a little boundary in place with that warm, moist air getting north, but not all the way into places like Chicago and Cleveland. But right on that, we have a lift. It's a lifting mechanism, and so that means that you are going to see that thunderstorms develop. This whole system moves east tomorrow, but this boundary lingers, and this is one of the reasons that we have a huge flood threat for us, is because we've got this lifting mechanism sticking around. It comes through on Saturday. By the way, this thing doesn't leave until Monday. Sunday, we're still going to be seeing snow into portions of Maine because it is a slow mover. Milwaukee, we get sunshine on Friday, then we're back in it on Saturday. And notice the path of this coming through the Great Lakes. A lot of rain again for a lot of places that could use the snow. Saturday, even into Sunday, it is still hanging in the Northeast. New England, I should say, really more specifically. Otherwise, a lot of us have a pretty decent second half of the weekend here. For the most part, though, Jim, things are going to ramp back up as we head into next week. Boston, you get a good Sunday at least, though a little bit breezy.
Yeah, next
staff.
Yeah, and that was one of the problems in California. You had a cold pocket aloft.
Yeah.
And you got some of that sunshine just enough to get a little daytime heating, and boom.
And a powerful jet coming in on the backside of it.
Exactly. And you can still see that jet, by the way, that is now streaming over New Mexico, Texas, on into Kansas, into Oklahoma. This whole big trough is swinging eastbound. And this is the same trough that caused the problems in California. Now it's all going to be making its way east, kicking off storms today from Texas to Oklahoma. all the way into portions of the Ohio River Valley. And there's a threat for hail today. It could be 2 inches or greater. That's the size of a lime into that hatched area, which is anywhere from Oklahoma City down towards Abilene. And we will see lots of warm, moist, buoyant air pop into our forecast as we head into not only this afternoon, but into this evening. So it continues to stay unsettled for us. And that's going to be the story. Starting around 3 p.m., you see a few of those storms start to fire up. And then as we go through the evening, it just continues to build back into Texas. And look at that line. So we'll get a couple rounds going through Oklahoma. Notice it's at 2 a.m. all the way down to San Angelo. And then it all sweeps eastbound. For our Sunday morning, it's still cranking here into Texas and Arkansas. But then we get other factors that come into play in the afternoon and evening into Friday. Jim's going to talk about that momentarily. But first today, Oklahoma, you'll see those thunderstorms. Look at all this warm, moist air in the 80s for us. Tomorrow, it shifts east, and this is where we get that low-level jet to really push in and amplify the storms as we head into our tomorrow, and why we have a bigger threat for those supercells tomorrow. While today, Jim, the threat really is hail for the most part. Can't rule out a tornado, but...
No, especially right on the front, right? Because you get kind of natural spin down there. But even what you showed, I mean, Oklahoma City in the 60s,
right?
All right, almost in 80s, in Louisiana and Mississippi. So you're in the